It's go time for fantasy football spring drafts. If your current site makes league updates difficult, switch to the site built by commissioners for commissioners. Flea Flicker offers email and live drafts, year-round access, lightning-fast scoring, an easy interface, powerful commissioner and dynasty tools, brand new taxi squads, and mobile apps. Choose from 125 scoring rules and 12 NFL positions. Best of all, Flea Flicker is 100% free. Visit fleaflicker.com/footballers.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, man, it went out.
That was terrible.
Turn off the light.
Go home.
I've never had that happen before. Halfway through the welcome.
First off,
Puberty's a son of a gun.
the starting pitch of the was very low, and I think that's what you got in your head.
Yeah.
And then it was almost like you had a giant turn notch on your chest, and you were flipping the pitch
Yeah,
up.
that didn't work. Welcome in.
No, it was great.
What did I say right before
You
we started
did
the show, Jason?
Good luck.
Well, I did say that to Brooks specifically, but I said I think I'm losing my voice, and then I validated that concern. Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. It is Thursday, May 10th, 2018. This is show 547, just in case you're wondering.
Oh,
You know, we're inching closer to
Oh, yes, we
a
are.
whole bunch of fives. That's the only hint I'm going to give you.
I gotta hold it back. I gotta save up.
We have a can't-miss episode today. A live PPR mock draft. A live PPR mock draft using the SleeperBot draft boards, which is all the most current average draft position. This is going to be the kind of first look post-NFL draft at where players are being drafted. These have been some of our most popular episodes for a reason, and the reason is you start to get your bearings. You start to figure out where you are, and it's May, middle of May, and now we know where these guys are going.
Yeah, before the draft hits, when you're doing things like best ball drafts and things like that, you have somewhat of an idea, but it's almost like you're in a cave, but you only got a candle.
Right.
And now
There's a lot of groping going on.
Wait, what?
You never,
I was 1 minute. Oh, for the walls.
You're groping.
Oh, man. I was with you. I didn't think it was that weird.
I like how Mike discovered the real meaning halfway through his absolute shock.
There is a certain connotation these days. Regardless. So back to my really good analogy.
Sorry.
Where you have the candle. Now we don't. The lights have not been turned on, but at least we have a nice spelunker hat. So we've got a bit more of a flashlight. The NFL draft is over, so this is where the value and the draft position starts to take shape.
Still can't get the groping out of your head.
No.
Groping in the dark.
No.
We're not groping.
We're not doing
anymore.
that anymore.
That's
We never were.
Nobody.
This is.
Hey, if you want to follow us on Twitter, at the FF Ballers is where you find us. Mike is at FF Hitman, Jason at JasonFFL. I'm at Andy Holloway. And always check out our Instagram. There's always funny stuff going on over there. Instagram.com/fantasyfootballers. You'll get some behind the scenes. You'll get some breaking news, including what happened yesterday, which we're going to talk about momentarily. And you can check out our community, jointhefoot.com. A ton of you joined up yesterday. You get access to footclanleagues.com. You can join leagues with really good players. That's what defines and makes a great league. So you can check that out. And one final reminder here before the weekend. FootClanGiveaway.com. We're giving away a signed Lev Bell jersey and a signed Alvin Kamara football.
Oh!
Even more timely considering our quick question here. So, guys.
Also, I will just say this. One last opener here, because this is such a big, important show. PPR Mock Draft, first of the season after the NFL Draft. Stay tuned for Tuesday's show, because we have a very large announcement coming next week. That's it.
I had no idea what you were talking about, but I'm with you. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Big
I'm so
announcement on
excited.
Tuesday.
Big announcement.
Tune in.
And
All
let's
right.
put it this way. We're not being suspended for 4 games. That's
no.
not the announcement.
This is why I'm in a bad mood.
We'll get into it. All right, here's the big news. This is the quick question all wrapped up together. Saints running back Mark Ingram has been suspended 4 games for violating the PED policy. His appeal has already been denied. They have a week 6 bye, so he's eligible to return for a week in week 5.
Oof.
And then you're going to miss another week with the bye week. So Mark Ingram, you made a mistake here, sir.
Yeah,
and now the question is, where do you rank Alvin Kamara?
Oh,
If that's a hint,
Look, the star power is fully activated. And it's just first to wrap things up with Mark Ingram. Jason, do you remember the substance? Because this was an unfortunate situation because apparently he tested positive for something that's actually allowed in the NFL.
It's allowed if you have an exemption.
Yes.
I don't think the substance was ever specifically said, but I know a lot of times you can get an exemption, for like testosterone or something like that. So they fought it vigorously, or that's what, that was what they said. That was the word they used. And then it quickly came back and said, you lost the fight. Suspension upheld.
well, and I'm not going to gloat about Kamara's future because I feel like this is a cheat code to validate. Like when I wrote the article about Alvin Kamara being a top 5 running back,
Sure.
it was on the basis that, and this should maybe just reemphasize your confidence in Kamara even when Ingram returns, which is that towards the back half of the year, Alvin Kamara's snap percentage was progressively going up. He was the primary used running back in the playoffs specifically. So now you don't even have Mark Ingram for those first 4 weeks. So do you approach this with Alvin Kamara is set up to succeed season long as a top 5 guy, or do you approach it with and maybe you let him cash in on monster weeks for 4 weeks, and then you trade him for the number, you make an offer for a Lev Bell or a Todd Gurley?
No, you're probably set up. 4 games is a very long time in fantasy football, so it's the Alvin Kamara show. Now, I would expect someone from that depth chart to at least come in and get some touches. I don't think they're automatically going to jump Kamara up to 19 carries a game. He may be still getting 19, 20 touches a game, but he's in his NFL career, they capped him out at 12 attempts. So I'm not sure they will handle him the way that just completely overloads him. But he's the man for 4 weeks. He was the man last year, finishing as the running back 3. Efficiency off the charts. And now the volume is secure. And on top of that, you had the reports that there's more stuff happening in Saints camp. That Ingram was already upset at the transition, that he was being told Kamara's going to be the primary runner. You're now the backup. He's in a contract year. I mean, there's a lot of strange whispers from the bushes coming from New Orleans. So there could be more to this story heading forward. But for me, if you're talking season-long rankings, I'm still going to take Gurley. I'm still going to take Bell ahead of them just because I think that their opportunity is fully secure.
But now you're looking at him with the same breath as David Johnson and Ezekiel Elliott?
For me, that is 100% correct.
Yeah, I would still look at him after those guys. But it used to be that I would be looking at Alvin Kamara behind guys like Kareem Hunt. That has changed. Now, to me, there's the tier of Zeke and David Johnson and then Kamara. But to speak on what I would do in the draft on Mark Ingram, because
I want to know that.
My Twitter timeline is blown up with this.
That's
I'm the
question.
resident Mark Ingram truther. He was one of my 3 my guys last
year. Tell us what
year.
to do, Jay.
Don't draft him. And I mean it. Now, if he falls...
At all?
Hear me out, and here's why I would be really hesitant to draft him. You're going to miss the first 4 weeks. Andy already brought up the fact that they have a week 6 bye. So that means by week 7, over half of your fantasy regular season is gone. Not only do you not have this player, But now you have one less roster spot because you have to hold him. He's suspended, not injured. So even if you've got an IR, you can't put him away. So to me, I'm not taking him unless, I've seen people say, oh, now he's going to slip to the 8th round and I'm going to grab him. I'm not. If he goes, 11th, 12th round, where I'm talking about a burner spot, then I would probably draft him there. But no, I think this is a huge blow. Mark Ingram, maybe he has a really good second half of the year, but it very well might not matter at that point if you are now if you've put yourself in a position to where you have to win out to get into the playoffs. I would rather just have guys and have roster spots that are active and open, and then make a trade for him in the middle of the season.
I was just going to say he's probably going to become a pretty easy to locate trade target week 3, week 4 if you feel like you have the depth to carry him.
Yeah, you have to imagine that Alvin Kamara's efficiency will change with the workload increase, especially over the first 4 weeks.
Yes.
And you also have to remember he did miss a game, essentially the entire game with a concussion. There's no way they're going into the season with no one behind him. So there is going to be kind of a rebalancing there for those first few weeks. But it's just an example of what happens in the offseason where one specific transaction or piece of news completely changes everything that's going to happen in this draft with the Saints backfield. So, you were talking Kamara first round, Ingram second round, locked and loaded up until this news. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. The main event brought to you by the SleeperBot draft boards. Let's do it.
The Fantasy Footballers Mock Draft.
All right, we are going to do a 12-team PPR mock draft. We are going to draft as one team in this one, and we are going to do some down the line here where we each have our own team, but we're going to draft together today in a 12-team PPR. Our first mock after the NFL draft has taken place. All of that stuff is shaken out, and I'm really excited. Now we've drafted and done mock drafts with different platforms. All of them this year, we're going to be drafting on the SleeperBot draft board, and this is really nice because it's completely free to use the draft board, and we find it to be, the ADP is up to date. It's a very easy process. I can share the link with somebody. They can watch or participate.
Yeah, you can even have that. That's one of my favorite things about it is not only is it like a new modern design, you have like a real draft board that's very easy to use, but then you can actually invite other people. They can easily get in the draft with you on a modern design, and 2 people can participate in the mock draft.
In a fast mock draft.
Yes. Yeah, and the computer will auto-pick for all the people that you don't claim, and so you can kind of get a lay of the land really quick, and it's based on the last 24 hours of average draft position data.
I mean, we're always saying, and this is important to know, you should be mock drafting. We say this every year. If you want to win a championship, mock drafts are one of the most valuable tools every year because it gives you practice and a lay of the land of ADP, and if you start it early, you get to see how things are changing and the trends and take advantage of them.
And so we are going to draft from the 7th position. Mike was so kind to find a random number generator.
I did it.
You did it, Mike. And so we are on the clock. The draft has just started, and we're sitting here in the first round, and we've got, not a surprise, 5 of 6 off the board already, our running backs. Ezekiel Elliott, number 1, Todd Gurley, number 2, Lev Bell, number 3, David Johnson, number 4, and then Antonio Brown at number 5 with the aforementioned Alvin Kamara at number 6, guys. So this is an interesting place to draft because first round, you've waded through the top tier. Whether you include Kamara or not, you're kind of – those are the big 5 names. And you're sitting here, and I look at Saquon Barkley, I look at Leonard Fournette, who I have projected very high for 2018.
I like.
What are the major considerations that you guys have?
I like that we're drafting from this spot because I think this is basically the most difficult spot to draft from right now because it's really easy when you can get one of those centerpiece cornerstone running backs. Do you pivot and take a top wide receiver, or do you take one of those tier 2 type of running backs? I'm usually in the first round still going to stick with running back.
So how do you make the decision in a half-point league between a guy like Fournette, who I think, 40-plus targets was okay for him last year, but Saquon Barkley is set to be a threat in the passing game. Is it a close call between those two, and are there other players like Hopkins that you'd be considering or Odell Beckham Jr., Mike?
Right at this spot, looking at the rest of the running backs and the way they tier out, sure, maybe by the start of the season, Barkley jumps a tier because of his opportunity. I think I would grab a wide receiver here just because of how drafts and the depth of the running back position this current year, which
it's a strange thing for you to say, which makes me want to try it.
If you listen to this show, you know that I want my running backs and I want them early, but I think that the top tier of the wide receivers is still available to us, while I believe that a similar tiered running back is going to make it back to us.
Yeah, and I will say this.
So is it Hopkins or Beckham?
I would take Beckham.
I would,
but either is fine.
I would as well have Beckham ranked above Hopkins.
Wow, that surprises me.
Really?
It does. Coming off the injury, the lack of – I mean, I know that you have Watson coming off the injury, but what Hopkins did last year with a variety of quarterbacks, it's if you guys are voting Odell, we'll take him.
Yeah, I would take Odell. And to speak to the running backs, one of the running backs that was in the mix there for me, I have him as high as everybody else. He's a little bit riskier, but he might actually be able to make it back to us, was Dalvin Cook. He was a little too early to take him maybe in the first round, but someone like that might be able to drop to you in that second round.
He did not.
Yeah, so after we took Odell Beckham Jr., then Saquon went next. And I think Saquon's going to go in the top 8, guaranteed, maybe higher, simply because of the Ezekiel Elliott factor of a couple years ago. Look, when you're staring down a player like Leonard Fournette or Saquon, the intrigue of what if you get this guy that is Lev Bell is going to overwhelm a lot of players, in my opinion. So I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying I think that he's going to go around that range. Saquon went right after Odell Beckham Jr., who we took. Then it went Hopkins, Fournette, Melvin Gordon, and Kareem Hunt finishing the first round.
And do remember, this is a PPR draft.
Yes. Full point per reception.
So
12 team, by the way, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, and 1 flex.
And I was going to say multiple guys, but I'll just single out one. Leonard Fournette, even if you have very strong projections for him in a PPR, he's not nearly as valuable, in my opinion, as guys like Gordon. I would even put Kareem Hunt because of the possibility of 60 receptions for him. Leonard Fournette's not getting 60 receptions.
Yeah, that's very fair. Second round, Dalvin Cook, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Christian McCaffrey, one of my favorites, especially in PPR leagues. Mm-hmm. Yes. And then Devontae Adams at the 17 overall pick. We're at 18 right here, coming back in the second round.
There's a player that
and you got to take a running back now.
I don't think you have to in a PPR, but because of a certain running back that is available on the board, I'm not that huge into him. I shared this on Twitter that I really want to dislike this player due to age, mileage, offensive line. There's a lot of reasons.
It's shady, isn't it?
But shady is a locked and loaded 315 touches minimum.
Yeah.
If he doesn't lead the team in receptions, he's going to be in the top 2 or 3, and this is a PPR league. So you got to stick with a guy who's just spent his entire career being a fantasy stud in the second round. Pair him with Odell Beckham. I think shady's the pick.
Mike, are you on board with that over a guy like other people on the board, Devonta Freeman? And then you get into kind of a lower tier of running back, I think, with the unknown of Jerick McKinnon, Jordan Howard, Joe Mixon. Wide receiver, you still have Keenan Allen, A.J. Green on the board.
Yeah, Keenan Allen is very tempting for me here.
Full PPR.
Because of the full PPR factor and just kind of not fully punting, not going 0 RB, but just trying to get some more value with the heavier pass catchers at the running back position, because Keenan Allen in a PPR, even though A.J. Green is great, for me, Keenan Allen is the end of the tier at the wide receiver position. But I agree with you. I think I would take Shady McCoy. Just balance it out. Get one elite wide receiver, one elite running back.
Now, I was kind of hoping that I thought about bringing up Rob Gronkowski's name in a PPR league there. It's a little early.
Yeah.
Devonta Freeman went after McCoy, so we took LaShawn McCoy. Keenan Allen, A.J. Green, Mark Ingram. ADP hasn't quite caught up to Mark Ingram. Where do you think he's going to go? In the 4th, 5th round?
He's going to be a very interesting case study, because last year you had Doug Martin with a 4-game suspension, and he's not nearly as good as what Mark Ingram has been able to do the past couple years, and people were still taking Doug Martin in that 5-6 range and saying, I'm just going to hold on to him and see what happens.
Mike Evans went after Ingram there in the second round, and then Jerick McKinnon, who I think you'll see in the second round of most drafts, went at 24. Now, one of the convenient things here about the SleeperBot draft boards, which we're doing it on desktop, but you can do it on your SleeperBot app as well, is you can pause that draft, and I'm going to press the pause button after the second round so that we can thank today's sponsor, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the smartest, the easiest, the best way to get tickets to any type of live event. I just took my my sister and my son to a Diamondbacks game the other day and snagged our 3 tickets.
Did you get the dog?
With SeatGeek. I did get the dog game.
No,
did you know that?
No, it did like the giant hot dog thing.
Oh, no. I thought, ironically, I went on dog night, which, if you know me, is hilarious. Everybody had their dog. But whether you're searching for a last-minute deal, planning a night out, whatever, SeatGeek has the best prices. We've used them for years. We have it on our phones. It's the easiest way to shop for tickets. I don't even really think about another way anymore. I don't want to sift through 1,000 providers. They give you the best deal. I literally just looked for the dark green dot, which is like the best deal, and I bought those tickets. It was like 2 seconds. And so we enjoyed the game. It was great. Everything worked fine. You can swipe your app at the ticket stand, not just, you don't have to bring the physical tickets. And so they just make it easier than it's ever been before. Best bang for your buck is the SeatGeek app. And if you're a listener of the show, you get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Just download the SeatGeek app, enter the promo code Footballers today, and that's the promo code Footballers for $20 off that first purchase.
We want to thank Pro Flowers for sponsoring today's show. Doesn't mom deserve more than one day? When you send her Pro Flowers for Mother's Day, she's guaranteed to have at least 7 days of fresh, beautiful flowers. This is the last week that you can send 100 colorful blooms with a free glass vase for just $19.99 plus shipping and handling with our promo code Footballers. With fresh flowers guaranteed, delivery, and unique vases and accessories that mom will love, Pro Flowers has everything you need to get your Mother's Day shopping done. Just choose the delivery date you want. It's guaranteed. You can even get it delivered on Mother's Day. Remember, Mother's Day is this Sunday. Don't forget to show mom how much she means to you. Send her 100 colorful blooms with a free glass vase for just $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Visit proflowers.com. Click on that blue microphone in the upper right corner. Use our code Footballers. That's proflowers.com. The code is Footballers.
All right, going to resume our mock draft. By the way, I did surprise my mother with flowers from Pro Flowers about 4 days ago, and I brought them over. So I had them shipped to me. I brought them over in the vase already done.
Very classy.
No one was home. Snuck in. Didn't leave a note. Just put the flowers right in the middle of her kitchen.
Oh, please.
And then left.
Please tell me your father took credit for these flowers.
I wish he would have, but no. Eventually I got a call, and they said process of elimination. We figured out it was you.
Oh.
So. All right.
I'd be like, yeah.
I called everyone else that I thought would give me these flowers first, but process of elimination,
yes,
you were the last one
correct.
I knew.
All right, third round. Jordan Howard goes number 1 in the third round, then Rob Gronkowski, then Joe Mixon.
Really was hoping Joe Mixon dropped to us.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, then Derrick Henry.
Really surprised to see
I want to talk about him right now. Hold on.
He's going to go high in drafts.
And then Adam Thielen. But I want to talk about the Henry owner in this draft because they went Antonio Brown, Keenan Allen. They did something similar to what we could have done with Beckham and Keenan Allen. If you go wide receiver in a PPR, he stared down Derrick Henry in the third round. Are you comfortable with Derrick Henry as your RB1 even in a PPR league?
Especially not in a PPR league. Derrick Henry,
would you have taken Deion Lewis heads up over him there in a PPR league?
In a PPR league, I have Deion Lewis ahead of him, but I probably have about 6 or 7 or 8 more guys. So and the thing is this is not a mock draft problem of Derrick Henry going high. I see this in best ball drafts
everywhere.
Derrick Henry is a 3rd round pick. I don't think Derrick Henry.
His marketing team has done good work.
They have
good work.
They've done a great job, but I don't
hired
think he's
the right publicist.
Worth a 3rd round pick, in my opinion.
Now
I'm with you on that.
So I'm going to give you a heads up. Would you take the security of Derrick Henry? You know that his role is safe with the Tennessee Titans. He's not going to be the pass catcher, but he's going to be the goal line back. He's going to be the primary 2-down guy. Yes, Lewis will get some carries. Or would you rather take the gamble on Kenyon Drake, who should be the pass catcher for Miami, but they drafted a pass catcher and they brought in the Infinity Stone himself, Frank Gore, who just lasts forever, and you don't bring Frank Gore in to be a third down back.
I personally am not trusting Drake, and you might have been asking Jason there, but I am not trusting Drake in that situation. I will take the timeshare back on a better team in Derrick Henry versus the timeshare back on what I think might be the worst team in football in Miami.
I see them in the exact same tier, and I think it's a worthy thing to bring up. And I also agree with your analysis there, Andy, about the difference between them. I would lean in a full PPR towards the Kenyon Drake side because I think he'll catch the ball. But again, I would take neither of them. Here's a guy I would take right now on the clock that I don't think we'll take because I'm probably going to get enough pushback from you two to say we don't need to take him yet and everything. But
Kobe Fleener is not even on a team, Jason.
He is going to sign soon, and we must have him.
We must have Kobe.
No, Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny, I think, is going to be a 3-down workhorse back. And, I mean, that's the news that's been coming out left, right, and center.
So Rashad Penny, first of all, when you bring him up, you're saying over Darius Geist and over Sony Michel. You take Rashad Penny right here is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying because I think Rashad Penny will be a 3-down back. Darius Geist will be much more of a 2-down back thanks to Chris Thompson there.
Yeah, and Sony Michel is going to share time.
Exactly. So if I was taking a rookie at this spot, 3rd round, that's who I'd look to. However, there are plenty of other great options. Doug Baldwin, who I think is going to have a huge 2018 due to the absence of Paul Richardson being gone from the Seahawks.
The absence of an offense.
And the absence of Jimmy Graham. I mean, the ball's going to go somewhere. So apparently, I just want a Seahawk. I
think wide receiver.
What have you become?
I think wide receiver is probably where we're going to lean. I do want to mention that right here at 31 is about where Aaron Rodgers goes in the average PPR draft. Not because I want him, but just so I want the listeners to be aware. Aaron Rodgers goes about here in the middle of the 3rd round.
But Andy.
Yes, voice of public opinion. Boy, you've taken a long break. I haven't heard you in a while.
It was the off season. I don't pay attention in off season.
That makes sense.
That is nicely done.
Yeah. Isn't Aaron Rodgers just like the best quarterback until they score the most points, so we should just draft him here?
Yep.
He should have been the 101.
Sure.
101 maybe not, but I do not think you'll hurt yourself drafting Aaron Rodgers in the 3rd round.
I think you'll miss out on a more important piece.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers will be the number 1 quarterback, but I think you're hurting your team a lot.
All right,
with
so
what you can get later.
Mike, I'm going to toss the pick to you. You've got wide receivers available: Baldwin, Hilton, Diggs, Gordon, Amari Cooper. Running backs, you got the aforementioned. Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald in PPR.
Larry Fitzgerald is the guy that I want to draft if we're going with a wide receiver.
He could slip back to us, though.
I think he will come back in the 4th round. He may even be around in the 5th round, thanks to you, voice of public opinion.
Oh, don't you call
me
Rashad
Penny?
The voice.
So right here, I'm going with the upside. I'm taking the shot on a player who I think can be a 3-down back. I'm with Jason. I would go with Rashad Penny.
It's interesting because ADP-wise, you're taking him over guys like Drake and Ajayi and Collins, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, good. I love seeing that. I honestly, depending on
value potential there,
this is where you've got to know your league. You've got to gauge the temperature of your league and know, because would you rather say, oh, I can get Doug Baldwin here and then have Rashad Penny fall to me, or if you don't want 2 Seahawks, say Fitz first. Know the guys that your league likes.
I think it's interesting because there's a world, and it's not a hard one to envision, where Rashad Penny, Jerick McKinnon, they're in the exact same tier, exact same type of player in terms of how they're being used, and yet McKinnon went in the back of the 2nd round. We get Penny in the middle of the 3rd here. And what's ironic is you only had one other running back go between that pick and where we are now. Aaron Rodgers went next. Travis Kelce, the 2nd tight end off the board, goes with pick 33. Then Doug Baldwin, you talked about him. Deshaun Watson, who, again, I think you will see this early and often. There are those out there in the community that do believe that Deshaun Watson is the number 1 quarterback for 2018.
That's
then
ridiculous.
You see T.Y. Hilton, Zach Ertz, Jay Ajayi, Stephon Diggs, Josh Gordon, and Amari Cooper. Any regrets now that 5 wide receivers went off the board after our Rashad Penny pick? Or are you happy because Larry Fitzgerald's still there, Mike?
I have no regrets as far as the wide receivers are concerned because the one I was targeting is still available.
As in Larry?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Larry's great. You also have guys like Allen Robinson, who could be a star still on the board. So I have no regrets here. I did want to bring up one thing that I saw. If you're on the YouTube, and you're following along with the video, or you go to our Instagram and Twitter and see the draft board, we kind of glossed over the fact that Rob Gronkowski fell to the 3rd round, but goodness gracious, was that a great pick. If he's in the 3rd round, I'm taking him 100%.
I was bringing him up with our 18th overall pick.
Yeah, he fell right into that nice corner pocket. It's like 8-ball corner pocket. That's where you want to be if you're going to get Gronk on your team.
Mm-hmm.
You're not willing to reach for him.
Not in the middle of the 2nd.
Would you have been, hypothetically, you take Gronk there, that means we miss out on Shady. We end up with Rashad Penny as our RB1. That seems like a tough place to be. We're leaning on a rookie.
Yeah.
I'm probably more happy with what we got.
And then, I would take Larry.
And then instead of Larry, I would probably be convinced into someone.
Alex Collins.
Yeah, Collins, or even getting really risky just because they're both unproven rookies, but going with Sony Michel as well.
All right, before I get into the 5th round here, I want to run our team back. We took Odell Beckham Jr. in the 1st round, LaShawn McCoy in the 2nd, Rashad Penny in the 3rd, and Larry Fitzgerald. When you have a PPR league and you're combining Odell Beckham Jr. and Larry Fitzgerald, that is as solid as it gets outside of an injury. You're going to be in good shape.
With 2
I like our
backs.
team.
I like it a lot. I mean, I think
I like it a lot.
Larry Fitzgerald in a full PPR league will be, as he always is since he's been 32 years old, super undervalued as far as average draft position.
All right, Fitzgerald went with us with our pick at 42, then Kenyon Drake, Alex Collins, and then a run of wideouts: Robinson, Demaryius Thomas, Jeffrey, Cooks. Jimmy Graham went with the 49th pick, first pick of the 5th round. Then Lamar Miller, Jarvis Landry, Russell Wilson, Darius Geis, and Juju Smith-Schuster. I've been angling for some Juju shares on many of my dynasty rosters. I think that he is in a position where you might still be able to get him for less than he's worth.
Man, I will say this. So we are right now working tirelessly on the Ultimate Draft Kit.
Where do you get that?
UltimateDraftKit.com. But
on the internet. Cool.
Yeah, we are statting out all of these teams, every player. I mean, we're diving as deep as possible. And I was shocked. Probably my most surprising thing at the end, as far as how far I am right now through, was Juju Smith-Schuster. I have him. I was like, oh my gosh, he's way too high. I saw it and I thought, I made a mistake. He's way too high. I went and I double checked and I went, no, I think this is going to be his role. So I am liking Juju.
All right, we're here in the 5th round.
When you're saying high, you're talking high level wide receiver too?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have, high? I think that he's going to end up there. I don't have all 32 teams completely mapped out yet, so I can't speak to his exact position.
I hope you mean on a physical map. I hope that's how you do it.
Yes, I do.
You roll out a really big one.
And when I say high, I mean north.
Yes.
I mean, he's like
close
up
to the
near
wall,
Canada.
close to the Great Wall.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it's flat. The map is flat.
Well, the Earth
just like the Earth.
Just like an episode of Carmen Sandiego. You got the map, and you go put the team.
Man,
in the world.
Those kids who got the Europe map
Not good,
on Carmen
man.
Sandiego, like just stop it right now. He's already dead.
Nice try. And then you get that United States.
Yeah, and then they're
Easy.
And then you have to give the prize away. Oh, so just I pour one out for you kids who got the Europe map on the grand finale. Oh.
All right, we've got our 4 guys. Now let's look at the board. Got Carlos Hyde in the coin flip there in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Golden Tate, Deion Lewis still on
man,
the board. Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, Greg Olson. Who are you looking at? Sony Michel still on the board here. Could double down on the rookies in the 5th round.
To get Deion Lewis 2 rounds after Derrick Henry, to me, is really wise. He has been a great running back. If you fear health or you worry about the workload, that's fine. But to me, I think Deion Lewis is a steal here. He is a pass catcher as well, and Henry is not. This is a full PPR. It's just a matter of, if we're going running back, he's the guy that sticks out to me.
Any thought to Greg Olson, a guy who never missed a game in his career before last year, also a target leader for that team since Cam's been around. You're probably talking 80 reception potential for him. Once again, I just bringing his name up.
Yeah, they did add a first-round wide receiver. So it's
Would you take Deion Lewis or Sony Michel then, Mike?
That's a good question.
I think I would take the upside of Sony Michel.
I think I would as well, but I'm willing to acquiesce on the pick if you guys
If you both want it, I would be okay with it. I will say this, roster construction wise, since we have a rookie question mark, I'm fine just loading up and saying, hey, let's go for a grand slam here, if that makes sense to anybody because you like
that's
baseball.
yeah.
Which is the worst.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
That's why I would probably lean Dion Lewis. But if you both prefer Michelle, then I've been outvoted.
What do you think, Mike?
I'm looking
You know
at
who needs to make this pick since it's Brooks.
Oh, we get a ruling from the judge.
Got to get a
Judge,
ruling.
can we get a pick here between those two?
Can you hit that drop, Andy?
Wait.
Oh, you want?
Oh,
No.
my goodness. The answer is, of course I can.
Of course you can.
Hold.
No, it's not. Brooks, it's not in here.
No.
We're taking Sony Michel.
Oh, my
man.
gosh.
Your fitness consigliere.
Brooks deleted it.
It's not on the soundboard. Unbelievable. For that reason alone, we should have taken Dion Lewis.
Yeah, that's pretty bad mojo.
Yeah.
All right, so one of you guys want to run through the rest of the fifth round for me?
Sure. So after
I'm going to recover this
yes,
show.
it's very important. After Sony Michel, Carlos Hyde went, which that's a huge question as to who's even the lead running back in Cleveland.
In a PPR, I'll tell you who it is. It's Duke Johnson.
Jarvis
It
Landry.
is Duke Johnson.
Golden Tate went after that, and then Dion Lewis. Oh, Julian Edelman went. That's a great pick. I was hoping he would make it back around. Then the next quarterback off the board, Carson Wentz, followed by Greg Olsen. You had Crabtree, Brady, Tevin Coleman, Evan Ingram. So at this point, with this many tight ends off the board, this is where you might be in your draft and going, oh, shoot, I got to get a tight end. It's the exact opposite of true. Right now it's, oh, shoot, all the good tight ends are gone. Just punt. Just keep drafting.
Yeah, nobody's
the more
drafting a
important
double.
position.
They're not going to double up on tight ends, so there's only so many teams that can draft them, and you've already got 6 off the board.
And you do not need an early pick to try to get the 7th best
Who was
tight
our
end.
last pick, by the way?
I believe it was Sony Michel.
You've met my fitness consigliere, Michel.
Feels so forced now.
I know. I'm really sorry, Brooks. I should have had that ready. By the way, if you end up in a situation like this, you're in the 6th round, and you've decided to go away from wide receiver, I am comfortable with a Michael Crabtree as my wide receiver 2 if you decided to wait. So if you did spin an early pick on a Rob Gronkowski, if you did see, let's say Aaron Rodgers drops to the 5th round, and you snag him.
Still not going to do it.
Oh, you
I would
got to be
take him in the
kidding me.
5th.
You got to be kidding. He makes such a difference for that roster. Week in and week out, consistency, if you go to the consistency charts and you look at Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I feel like you're just being stubborn there, Mike.
No, if
A 5th round Aaron Rodgers, you have to take him. You have to take him.
I
depends
don't
on the
think
board.
you have to. I agree it depends on the board because this is a matter
According
of
to
who
the
are
law
you replacing.
in the state of Arizona, you do.
If I'm replacing a Michael Crabtree, I'm fine. Take Aaron Rodgers. Like
Yeah, that
Michael
would be
Crabtree to
foolishness.
me is not a guy worth passing on Aaron Rodgers. Now, if we're talking about someone that we really really like, is there Dion Lewis and a Fitz? I'm not taking. I'm not going to take Aaron Rodgers over a player like that.
So now that we have 2 wideouts, 3 running backs, what's on your mind, Mike? What do you think of this
we
roster?
got to go wide receiver at this point.
PPR, full PPR
Yeah.
league, Devin Funchess, Corey Davis. So you got another maybe that adds a little too much unknown risk to our roster with Rashad
Yes.
Penny and Sony Michel. You can go more established. A guy like Marvin Jones, who last year was very, very good, top 12 wide receiver.
I was going to bring him up last round.
He is not as popular in the PPR format because he's normally a 60-catch type of guy. You also have options here with Sammy Watkins in Kansas City. You could go Robbie Anderson. Randall Cobb is a PPR sneaky play. I think he's going to drop a couple rounds. Somebody I'd love to get late.
Yeah, Randall. I agree with that. Randall Cobb's someone we should look for a couple rounds from now. But if we're looking wide receiver, PPR or not PPR, I think Marvin Jones. Look, he had over 100 targets last year, 9 touchdowns, and he's got his role established. And then you also have the loss of Eric Ebron, which say whatever you want about whether you like Eric Ebron, he soaked up a lot of targets. I think Marvin Jones has the rapport, has a good enough offense to at this point be a really solid pick.
One thing to keep in mind about Detroit is what they chose to do in the draft. Despite Matt Patricia being a defensive-minded coach, They said, hey, we're going to win games with our offense. We're going to sacrifice a defensive pick, and we're going to make an effort to improve our running game with Kerryon Johnson. We're going to improve the offensive line this offseason. And I think they're going to put it on the shoulder of Matthew Stafford again this year. So I'm pretty bullish on Jones, Tate, and that offense with what we've seen from Stafford, so I'm fine with that. The rest of this round, we basically, all the way through to our 7th-round pick, we saw a big run on the quarterback and tight end.
Onesies.
Yeah, on the quarterback and tight end. So Hunter Henry went off the board. We talked about Rex. Well, Rex Burkhead's gone. What do you think of Rex Burkhead at 69 there?
I don't mind it. I don't mind someone taking the route of not paying up early for Sony Michel. I think by the time draft season hits, Michel is not going to be a 5th-round pick. He'll be earlier. So those who want to wait and just get their shares of the New England backfield with Rex Burkhead, I think it's a wise move.
This is and you know, to illustrate this again, you say a lot of the onesies, meaning the quarterbacks and the tight ends, where you've got one position that starts, went off the board. If this is happening in your draft and you're not used to you're used to having one of those stud guys, this is the best thing that ever happens. This means that all the more important positions are not being drafted, and we're going to get another great guy. You know, Hunter Henry, Delaney Walker, Kyle Rudolph, Jordan Reed.
I like that Henry pick a lot.
Yes, the Henry was probably the last tight end in that tier that I would consider in these middle rounds.
There's a tight end on the board, though, I want you guys to look at here. We have 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. And Trey Burton.
Trey Boo-Boo.
Trey Burton was paid big-time money to be the Kelsey tight end, the Kelsey-esque tight end in Chicago. And there's an argument to be made that, look, most teams have drafted a tight end. We might be able to wait another round. But this is one of the things, draft awareness. There are 2 teams that will draft 2 times before we draft again, and both of them don't have tight ends. Burton's not coming back around to us. He's going to go.
You think Burton's going to go?
I can guarantee you Burton will go.
Oh, well, since he can guarantee, we are not drafting Trey Burton. So it's the only way we can prove whether or not we're right or not.
Garçon? Do you want?
Yeah.
I mean, Garçon is a PPR target.
Garçon was the name I was going to talk about last round before we dialed in with Marvin Jones. So I would.
Would you rather take a shot on a Green Bay running back?
No, I would take. It's PPR. I want to play 3 wide receivers essentially every week, despite our running back depth right now. And I think that Pierre Garçon is a great pick.
Pierre Garçon, if we're talking about PPR wide receivers, more than Emmanuel Sanders, who I also like in this spot, both on the board.
Yes, I do.
And then I would throw out Tariq Cohen as another name.
Hold on.
We did jump on Pierre Garçon as we need to get through.
Crap!
Need to get through the 8th round.
Andy won.
No!
It was obvious, guys.
Oh!
This is why
you made a guarantee.
I did, and Trey Burton ended up going 3 picks later.
Oh.
Look, that was a situation where if you have a guy you like in Trey Burton there, where I think the value of Trey Burton and Pierre Garçon is pretty similar, and you know the team, because this is a snake draft, so there were 2 tight end less teams that were going to draft 2 times before it came back around to us. We played the game. We lost.
I love it.
Tariq
Honestly,
Cohen, Matthew Stafford, Trey Burton, Tyler Eifert, Chris Hogan.
If you didn't make the guarantee that he would get back to us,
we would have taken
There's a great chance we take him, because I'm super bullish on Trey Burton this year.
We are just very, very petty.
Right.
Very petty. All right, our team: Odell Beckham, LaShawn McCoy, Rashad Penny, Larry Fitzgerald, Sony Michel, Marvin Jones, Pierre Garçon. Look, Sammy Watkins bounced back around to us here. It makes me even more wish that I'd rather have Trey Burton at that pick and then Sammy Watkins at the 90th overall. Live and learn.
I love Sammy.
What do you guys want to do here? Is there any consideration to an Andrew Luck at the 90th overall pick?
Yeah. I have a rule right now, and I don't draft Andrew Luck until he's at practice full go.
Not feeling lucky.
No, I'm with Jason on that one. It's going to be hands off until we really know.
So at that point, you're looking at Sammy Watkins, Marshawn Lynch, Jamal Williams, Robert Woods, Marlon Mack. You could go. You could take another shot at a rookie. I bet you can get Royce Freeman here, but it might be early.
It's not early based off of my projections.
Royce Freeman is unbelievable here. I mean, the reality is when we get closer and people have done more study, more study, more projections, and it comes to August, there's no way Royce Freeman would be available.
I don't agree with you on that. Because I look at all the other running backs around this zone, and I don't see people drafting Royce Freeman ahead of a Deion Lewis, ahead of a Rex Burkhead, ahead of a Tariq Cohen, Duke Johnson. I don't think he's going ahead of any of those unless you have an actual mandate from the head coach that says, hey, Royce Freeman is going to be our first and second down back, which right now the public consensus is it's Devontae Booker's job until Royce Freeman earns it.
Well, I will say this. You are right, and maybe in the sense that we don't have that mandate, but I believe wholeheartedly it's going to happen that Royce Freeman will be the lead guy. I've got him actually.
Well, we all believe that, but that doesn't mean that people are going to draft him ahead of Duke Johnson.
Sure, but at this point in the draft where you're kind of going, okay, the other names that are available now, I have him statted above Alex Collins, who I really like. So I don't think this is where you gamble with upside.
I think you need to go.
The job.
You need to go running back. The question is, do you want to take a player like Jamal Williams on an established offense, or do you want to take or Marshawn Lynch? I mean, Marshawn Lynch is going to get the ball. He's going to be reliable. He's not as attractive in PPR formats, but neither is Royce Freeman. If Devontae Booker is going to take that third down role,
do you worry at all about Marshawn Lynch? His carry totals with Krampus himself, Doug Martin.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely look. When you get into the ninth round, you're going to be finding a lot of holes in the players that you're picking. So I'm fine with Royce Freeman. That's the name that I brought up. I mean, I think he's the right guy to pick here.
All the rookies.
Yeah, we do have an extreme. It's hard because at this point in time, if you're drafting near now, you're going to get really great value, I think, on a lot of these rookie running backs.
We have certainly missed out on the run of confident tight ends. There's nobody left that I'm confident in.
Benjamin Watson, my dear.
Like I said, there is no one left that I'm confident in. I guess the pick here is Royce Freeman, and we're just going to be the rookie squad in our first PPR mock draft of the season. Do you guys have any other thoughts?
That's definitely the way that I would go, because I'm with Jason that I believe once the season hits he will. But Andy, I do agree with you that it's not his job yet.
No, it's not. It's not. But well, you know what? All rookies. That's all. That's the tip that we have for you. No matter what you're doing, you draft a player that's never played before.
In fairness, rookie running backs, not rookie wide receivers, too often.
Okay, so we're back around to finish that round out. Watkins, Lynch, Jamal Williams, Robert Woods, Marlon Mack. Again, you can see this whole draft board. We'll share there'll be video of it inside of our YouTube, but there'll also be a link to the completed draft board. Isn't that right, Brooks? On the website?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, you could. Brooks had to adjust the microphone there. Good job. Good job, Brooks. Good job. Robbie Anderson. I think that's a steal at 99.
Yeah,
good pick there.
Probably is.
Cooper Kupp and then Isaiah Crowell right before our pick here.
Cooper Kupp right there is
interesting.
I've gone through my projecting out the Rams, and
Robert Woods went exactly one round earlier.
Brandon Cooks is an absolute wild card to the Rams and what it's going to do. Will he soak up the same amount of targets that Sammy Watkins did, which is not a huge share? And Cooper Kupp, the second half of the season, was an absolute stud for PPR. Getting him this late is a fantastic
All right,
move.
I'm going to make this next pick as we're moving the draft along, and I'm taking Randall Cobb.
All right.
Randall Cobb at 103.
There's a player I'm hoping comes back to us that I saw that I'm willing to take at this point.
You can name him, Jason. The computer cannot actually hear you.
But it can read my mind because they took him right before our pick, the pick right before us. I think Big Ben is going to have a really good year. I've got, like I said, I think Juju has a good season. I think they're ready for an offensive step forward. If you look at what happened the second half of last year after their defense got worse, this is a very explosive offensive team, and I would have taken Big Ben here because he would be a tier break for me.
I took Randall Cobb. If you break down what you expect from Aaron Rodgers, which he's always given you stats-wise, it's hard not to give Randall Cobb a good season right now based on where you're projecting the ball to go. You lose Jordy Nelson. Obviously, Jimmy Graham's going to be involved, but I think Randall Cobb, if you look at last year, he had already moved up from the year before. He had an okay season. It's hard not to see targets going his way this year. Devontae Booker went next. Goodwin, Crowder, Parker, Chubb, Kelvin Benjamin, LeGarrette Blount, And then we got the Rams defense off the board at 111. Deonta Foreman and Big Ben.
And then to echo what Jason was saying, the second half of the year, once the offense actually started clicking, Big Ben was on pace for over 5,000 yards and 38 touchdowns. I don't know if he will get there. You do have a change at the offensive coordinator with Todd Haley being ushered out or leaving on his own terms. Not really sure.
Big Ben in fantasy football is an enigma because generally when you project Big Ben to do big things, he does them occasionally. He doesn't do them consistently. He's got struggles when he's on the road. He's had struggles with games that have, he's had monster game and then a couple duds. He's hard to predict for me, and I get it. He ended the year really strong. Todd Haley's gone. Todd Haley's the reason why people have confidence in Cleveland. So it's like it's a difficult thing to ascertain. What I know is the history of Big Ben, and the history of Big Ben is that more often than not he does not finish as a prominent fantasy quarterback. I'm going to lean that direction myself.
Now,
yeah, and
not that I mind taking him at 103.
We all love angry Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Right? We love that narrative of Tom Brady feels he has been slighted, he has been wronged, and now he is going to drop 10,000 points on every NFL team. Do we, in fact, get angry Ben Roethlisberger because he hates Mason Rudolph?
He's not
with
happy.
the passion of 1,000 burning bushes.
Did you hear?
Manny,
did you hear what he sent Mason Rudolph a package? It was a severed head. Yeah, he really doesn't like Mason Rudolph. He said, "You're not on my team." Is what he said.
Did he kick him off the team?
He also sent him another jersey. He sent him 31 other NFL jerseys.
Oh
said,
my
pick
goodness!
One. I like Phillip Rivers here as well. He is close enough. I think he would be a fine pick if we want to go quarterback. But there's still other quarterbacks.
There's Matt Ryan. There's Andrew Luck. There's Derek Carr. Pat Mahomes. Jameis Winston.
Alex Smith.
I'd rather have Jameis Winston than I would Phillip Rivers.
Jameis Winston, at this point, you're getting a quarterback that you're probably going to stream, and his opening schedule is the worst. So I look at that at this point in the draft. Alex Smith, Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, those are good. I also think there was, Sterling Shepard is still there, Martavis Bryant. There's plenty of options.
Calvin Ridley in Atlanta.
Calvin Ridley, DJ
Josh
Moore.
Doxson.
If you're gonna stick with rookies,
Mike, here's how we're gonna do because we got 5 picks left and we got to wrap the draft. Jason, you got the pick. Who you take?
I'm gonna take Phillip Rivers.
That's who I would take.
I think that he is the quarterback that I feel the most comfortable with left here.
We're at the point in the draft where I want to take who I want out of the pack remaining.
Right.
Of quarterbacks. The rest of our roster is very deep, very solid. So
it's interesting because you get to make the next pick, Mike.
Oh,
we're on the clock again. Pick 127.
And we have 4 picks left, so we may be at the
one
point.
more bench player basically. It's kicker, defense, tight end, and a bench.
Yep. Oh well, perfect. I was going to say we're probably at the point where I'm going to look at the tight end sleepers, and there's guys that at this part of the draft, I'm not saying I want them early, but there are guys who I have my eye on, including
Ricky Seals-Jones,
maybe
David Njoku,
but George Kittle, Vance McDonald from Pittsburgh, coming off of the heels of that playoff game where he was paprika'd.
Yeah, what do you have
targets.
like 10 for 100 and something?
What?
Paprika'd.
I like it.
No longer will you be peppered.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be
paprika'd?
When you get 12 targets, you are officially.
He was turned into a deviled egg, and then just topped it off with a little bit of paprika.
There's a lot of hype around him, certainly. I like him more than George Kittle.
Vance?
I think the Kittle love.
Do the Vance dance?
Yeah, the Kittle love is overblown.
Well, and of course, you can also go with the best tight end that's pretty much ever.
Jason, he has not signed with a team since the beginning of the show.
Oh no, I'm not talking about. I'm talking even better than Kobe.
Eric
Feiner.
Ebron.
Eric Ebron,
the backup tight end for the Colts.
Oh, he'll beat Jack Doyle.
O.J. Howard available.
Maybe.
Mike, make a pick, my friend.
I'm going to take Vance McDonald.
I'm going to take Vance.
I'm going to do that Vance dance.
Vance in your pants.
I feel like
it's much preferred over the no Vance dance.
I am 100% fine with Vance McDonald. I would be totally fine leaving a draft going with Vance McDonald. But if I do leave the draft with Vance McDonald, I expect that is my third to last pick.
If I leave the draft
that's where we are.
If I leave the draft with Vance McDonald,
That was our fourth.
there's a chance that I just release him and then just sign my favorite tight end heading into the season because he's not going to go drafted in a lot of leagues.
So what sleeper running backs are available here? We got basically our last bench spot.
Well, Josh Doctson, Allen Hurns, DJ Moore went at the top of this round. Patrick Mahomes is gone now. Somebody grabbed him. And we need another running back to ensure. And I like Corey Clement, and it's my pick, so I'm taking him.
Corey Clement is a great pick
Corey
here.
Clement at 138.
It's a lovely pick.
And that'll close out our regular roster. I'm not going to bore you with the tales of the kicker.
Here's one thing that's
we didn't
crazy.
get Jake Elliott.
At this point, I'm going to take a kicker that has the most interesting name to me.
Ooh, this is how I pick horses.
And it's always Harrison Butker. That is the answer to all equations.
Harrison what? I will say this. I think that the entire league here, if these other teams were real owners, made a mistake because they actually did not draft. I think at the end of the day, completely undrafted, a running back won, the 12th ranked running back, Frank Gore. RB12, old man strength.
I actually lied to you. I did not take Butker. I went with a defense. I took the Saints defense.
I like it.
Wait, what?
Oh, the Saints defense are going. They
draft
open
is
the
ruined.
year. They open the
I
year
took
with
defense
a great
over
schedule.
kicker, and then I went with Boswell.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, Mike. All right, one of you two fine gentlemen, you want to read our team back?
I will read it back. We started with Odell Beckham, Shady McCoy, Rashad Penny, Larry Fitzgerald in the fourth. Then we continued our rookie fever with Sony Michel, Marvin Jones, Pierre Garçon. Now, does Pierre Garçon balance out the fact that we have so many rookies?
Yes.
Yeah, and Larry, we went old wide receivers, young running backs,
Yes.
and that works in the NFL.
It works in PPR leagues for sure.
Royce Freeman, Randall Cobb, Phillip Rivers, and Vance McDonald will fill in our onesie positions. Corey Clement is our week one running back flyer. Then Saints and Chris Boswell. Who cares?
All right.
So what?
All right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy. I would have been happier with Trey Burton as my starting tight end.
Yes.
Than dancing with the
You shouldn't have made a guarantee. This is on you.
It really is my fault at this point. But that is it for our PPR mock draft. Once again, you can mock draft with the SleeperBot app. Again, on web, on mobile, you can set keepers in advance. You can full screen the draft board for draft parties. They are, I'll tell you this. We've worked with lots of different, mock draft tools and games. They're the most nimble company when it comes to adding features that are important to the player. And so that's why we've moved over there. And if we had made the wrong pick, I could have gone back and undid all the previous picks and let us take Trey Burton.
You probably should.
The commissioner had the power to do that. And, we paused the draft, all that stuff. So definitely grab
Let's go back.
the SleeperBot app. Put it on your phone. It's free. And you'll get news alerts and stuff that are great. You're going to find out about the Mark Ingram suspension instantaneously. So it's kind of one of those perfect tool belt items for a fantasy player.
Yeah.
Fair?
Fair.
All right. Enjoy your weekend. Unless, of course, you are
Mark Ingram.
oh, come on.
Probably having a bad weekend.
That's what you call a long weekend. He's got a
Yeah.
long one. If you're a Super Mario owner, you're living.
Oh, you're feeling
good.
You got the star, you got the flower, you got the Tanuki suit, you got the hammer suit.
All right, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for following the show, subscribing. Check out draft.com/ballers for some best ball, Jason.
Yeah, I was going to say, play best ball, and it's like mock drafted for real.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.